Congratulations, you've made it to the end part of this playlist where you get to learn the last part of the PQ operating system, all about the SAGE and the SAGE powers. So far, you've built self-command with PQ reps, remember those? And you've learned a lot about your saboteurs. And now it's time to activate the part of you that can live and lead with clarity and calm and confidence and courage and creativity and compassion, your sage, the you that has gotten buried underneath layers of self protection for years that you can start to access. So the sage perspective is simple, that every situation can be met with these sage powers of empathy and curiosity and innovation and laser focused action. Every challenge carries with it a seed of a gift or an opportunity, if you choose to see it. If you're stuck in your saboteurs and the judge, you'll just see it's bad, 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 bad. And if you can grab onto the sage perspective, then you get a chance to say, well, what is the gift here? And open up the possibility of seeing something broader that can come from this challenge that you would never wish on anybody else, but that is here now in your life. So when I was recovering from being hit by the car, that was something I did not want and I would not wish on anyone else. And I was in pain and I was feeling the loss of being able to be in the world and be active, and also the big unknown of how I was going to heal. And luckily, I had my sage perspective and my PQ practice, because one of the sage tools that I pulled out is this accept or convert. I needed to accept that this actually happened to me. And it took a while for my brain to catch up that actually I wasn't going to be going to these conferences and doing these speaking presentations. And while I was feeling this deep loss and a lot of pain, I also was practicing asking the question, what's the gift here? And now, from a year perspective later, 1 year later, I can see that one of the greatest gifts that I got out of this time is deepening my empathize power, my ability to truly have self-compassion. It's easy to talk about compassion and love for yourself, but it's much harder to do. And one of the things that I did again and again and again, especially in those first few months, was that I imagined my child self sitting next to me or even on my lap. And I would say to her, oh, honey, this is a lot. Let me hold you. You are enough just as you are. This is your time right now to be still, to breathe, and to trust that your body knows how to heal. I love you so much. And really leaning into that and allowing myself to feel grief and gratitude at the same time. Grateful that I wasn't one of the 20% that who dies when they get hit by a car at 20 miles an hour on a bicycle. Grateful to be alive. Grateful that I could be learning to love myself while still holding on to the fact this is a huge loss. And there was so much unknown. That's the sage perspective. The sage perspective allows you to look for the gift and start using the sage powers. And what are those 5 sage powers? Well, there's empathize with yourself and with others. There's explore, getting curious instead of judgmental. There's innovate, which is generating and creating new possibilities. There's navigate, choosing from your wiser, deeper values. And then there's activate, laser focused action. And here's my invitation to you. When you feel hijacked, you now have these tools. When you feel hijacked, when you feel an emotion that's negative, Recognize that you're caught by your saboteurs and do a PQ rep to give you some space. And then ask, what's needed now? Let that be your compass. That's how your sage takes the head of the table. That's how you live and lead from the inside out.